everywhere. GBS.
A very good afternoon. It is 1 p.m. here in Kenya's capital, Nairobi. And this is the Ambassador with me, your Ambassador Susan Nganga. And this is where we debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics. To our first story today, United Nations Deputy High Commission for Human Rights, Nada Al-Nashif, warned of an escalating human rights crisis in the Democratic Republic of Congo, driven by violence from the Rwanda-backed M23 group. In a recent report, she highlighted alarming levels of extrajudicial execution, sexual violence, and displacement, urging urgent international action to address the root causes of the conflict and hold perpetrators accountable.
United Nations Deputy High Commissioner for Human Rights Nada Al-Nashif delivered a report on the dire human rights situation in the Democratic Republic of Congo, emphasizing the ongoing violation tied to the offensive by the Rwanda-supported M23 group in the eastern DRC.
Let me underline with grave concern that since the beginning of the year, the United Nations has documented 602 victims of extrajudicial and summary execution committed by all parties to the conflict in North and South Kivu provinces alone. In Ituri province in the northeast, several groups continue to kill, maim, and abduct civilians. Without concrete action, this current violence may well engulf the entire region, and the risks of such catastrophe are growing by the day.
She noted that the violence has worsened an already critical humanitarian crisis in the North and South Kivu provinces, with over 602 victims of extrajudicial executions and a staggering increase in conflict-related sexual violence. Al-Nashif highlighted the United Nations' effort to support local authorities in promoting the rule of law, transitional justice, and accountability, though insecurity has hindered progress. Despite these challenges, trials have resulted in convictions for war crimes, and the United Nations continue to provide technical and logistical assistance for transitional justice and the reform of the penal code. Al-Nashif also stressed the need for a lasting peace strategy addressing the root cause of the conflict, particularly the unlawful exploitation of natural resources and systematic corruption. Paris Kigo, GBS News.
Thank you, Paris, for that report. Now, in Zimbabwe, police have arrested 95 people after a day of protest called by opponents of President Emmerson Mnangagwa. The group appeared before a court in Harare on charges of promoting public violence. Turnout for the demonstration was low, with most people staying away from the streets. A copy of the police charges accused the suspects of throwing stones and barricading a street while they gathered at the Harare's Freedom Square.
Zimbabwean police arrested 95 people on Tuesday following a day of protest organized by opponents of President Emmerson Mnangagwa. The protesters, who appeared in court on charges of promoting public violence, were accused of throwing stones and barricading a street of Harare's Freedom Square. Despite the call for demonstration from a faction of veterans of the country's 1970s liberation war, turnout was low, with schools and business closed and most people stay away. The government and police had urged the public to ignore the protest and continue with their daily activities, while the security was heightened in the capital. The protests were organized by a faction of opposed Mnangagwa's plans to extend his rule beyond 2028, when his second term ends. The group, led by Blessed Geza, support Vice President Constantino Chiwenga as the successor, though Chiwenga, a former military leader who helped oust Robert Mugabe, has not commented on the term extension or the protest. Paris Kigo, GBS News.
The death toll from the recent earthquakes in Myanmar has risen to nearly 3,000, with thousands more injured and hundreds still missing. As international rescue efforts intensify, humanitarian officials warn that the window for life-saving aid is closing rapidly, with many affected communities already facing shortage of water, food, and medical supplies.
The recent earthquake in Myanmar has caused widespread destruction, claiming nearly 3,000 lives, with thousands more injured and hundreds still unaccounted for.
As of today, almost 3,000 are dead and thousands more injured and missing. And the devastation is really alarming. Colleagues are reporting buildings turned to rubble, homes destroyed, and significant damage to roads and bridges and other infrastructure. Electricity supplies are still down in many places and phone communication is patchy at best.
The hardest hit areas, including Mandalay, Sagaing, and southern Shan State, are experiencing severe shortages of clean water, food, and medical supplies. The UN's Julia Rees, deputy representative of UNICEF in Myanmar, described the crisis as communities are left homeless, with children traumatized by the destruction and loss of family members.
What I saw was devastating. Entire communities have been flattened. Children and families are sleeping out in the open with no homes to return to. I met children who were in shock after witnessing their homes collapse or the death of a family member. And some have been separated from their parents and others are unaccounted for.
Despite efforts from international rescue teams, including units from China and India, the window for life-saving response is quickly closing and aftershocks continue to disrupt the recovery efforts.
The needs are massive and they're rising by the hour. The window for life-saving response is closing, and across the affected areas, families are facing acute shortages of clean water, food, and medical supplies.
The humanitarian situation is compounded by the country's ongoing conflict since 2021 military coup, with over 1.6 million displaced people already in the affected areas. With the time running out for saving lives, UN officials are calling on international communities to provide immediate and substantial support to help the people of Myanmar recover from this double tragedy. Triza Tiengo, GBS News.
Triza's story will take us to a very fast break here at the Ambassador. We'll be right back with more.
Welcome to Fun Dance Class! Today we will continue learning about Jingle Bell Rock. Friends, first you cross your arm and put it on top of your head, and as you go in left side, you open it, then you come back to your place.
And then you make your leg 90 degrees, and then as you put your legs until 90 degrees, you need to jump a bit. 1, 2. Then as you jump a bit, you need to stretch your hands downwards.
What is always before you but can't be seen?
Kudiscover talent.
Kudiscover ulijuangaje like unaweza imba like yeah.
Kini Trace Jumi Kipchoge kwa ngoma na mfala wananidis na wanabonga kwa ngoma, mafanjo wananipenda ndo nazidi kwa roga, wenye walenjaribu manze walishachoka na nikozabe meditation naendelesha generation niliofanya
Wewe at 1 year old ulikuwa unafanya nini? You're feeling the vibe. Ulitoa a few days ago, unaweza taka utuambie like ulikuwa unafikiria nini when you came up with the lyrics? Yeah.
So I'm doing my thing. Don't try and stop me when I'm doing my thing. I'm tryna boss, let me do my thing. And if you're tryna win, you can be on my team. Yeah, so I'm doing my thing. Don't try and stop me when I'm doing my thing. I'm tryna boss, let me do my thing.
You feel like you're young at heart, I'm an old soul. If you could only listen to one singer or band for the rest of your life, who would you choose?
And the question of the day is, can you survive without internet?
Ngumu plus kwa chini hizo story tu zote zikupite ni ngori.
Mimi niwaambie ukweli. Like hii ni kama kuambia mtu mwenye alikuwa amezoea kushindana nguo, mwambie toa nguo ushinde uchi. Hiyo kwa tricky kwa sababu sasa like ilikuwa imekuingia kwa kichwa kabisa.
Mimi nimesomea day school na niocha. So kukuwa na simu hadi ni ile katururu, si smartphone, ni ile katururu.
Sasa unaweza kaa holi ya bila simu.
Kuspend hii most of the time kwa simu. Also you need to run skills. So nilipatana na place hapa nikapo apply huko. And then I started learning skills. Digital skills.
Yes, hadi siku mbili haiwezi.
Kwa wiki naachilia hata kama ni siku mbili ama sometimes na extend to wiki nzima. Napata shiki simu yangu.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back to the bulletin now. The United Nations expressed deep concerns about the worrying development of another Israeli strike in southern Beirut, reportedly targeting a Hezbollah operative. This morning's strike resulted in 4 people killed, including 1 woman, and several others injured. According to Lebanese authorities, Stefan, spokesperson for the Secretary General, said, and I quote, "The United Nations reiterate the call on all parties to exercise maximum restraint and refrain from further escalatory activities which endanger civilians and jeopardize the progress already made to restore stability on both sides of the blue line," end of quote.
Concerned about the worrying developments of yet another Israeli airstrike in southern Beirut, reportedly targeting a Hezbollah operative. This morning's strikes resulted in 4 people killed, including 1 woman, and several others injured, and that's what Lebanese authorities are telling us. We reiterate our call on all parties to exercise maximum restraint and refrain from further escalatory activities which endanger civilians and jeopardizes the progress already made to restore stability on both sides of the blue line. The Office of the Special Coordinator and our peacekeepers remain in contact with all stakeholders to de-escalate the situation. Meanwhile, over the weekend, peacekeepers reported that Israeli army fired warning shots from a machine gun at them across the blue line near Ermaish in South Lebanon, also a clear violation of Resolution 1701. Fortunately, no one was injured. In a separate incident, the peacekeepers reported that the IDF patrolled aimed a laser at them. Any attempt to interfere with peacekeepers' mandated duties and any act that compromises their safety is unacceptable. The security of peacekeepers is paramount, and all parties are reminded of their obligations to respect it. The mission is following up with the Israeli Defense Forces on this matter.
Trump is set to announce new tariffs starting Wednesday, with a major address scheduled for the afternoon. The tariffs, which include reciprocal duties and a 25% tariffs on auto imports, are expected to increase trade friction with key partners like Canada and Mexico. The move comes amid rising fears about its impact on United States businesses and consumers, with economists warning that the measures could drive up prices and slow economic growth.
The president said last night he has made a decision and a determination. I was with him in the Oval Office earlier, and he is going to announce that decision tomorrow. I don't want to get ahead of the president. This is obviously a very big day. He's with his trade and tariff team right now, perfecting it to make sure this is a perfect deal for the American people and the American worker, and you will all find out in about 24 hours from now.
The White House confirmed President Trump will impose new tariffs starting today, with the key announcement scheduled for the afternoon. These tariffs will include reciprocal measures against countries imposing duties on U.S. goods and a 25% tariff on auto imports set to take effect on 3rd April. While specifics remain unclear, reports suggest the administration may raise duties by 20% on products for nearly every country, potentially generating over $6 trillion in revenue. The new measures come amid concerns about their impact on U.S. economy, with economists warning of higher prices, reduced hiring and slower economic growth due to increased trade barriers. The move is expected to escalate tensions with major U.S. trading partners, including Canada and Mexico, both of which have threatened retaliatory tariffs. U.S. companies are already feeling the effect, with the Buy Canadian movement making it harder for American goods to reach Canadian shelves. Economists have cautioned that these tariffs could backfire, leading to higher costs for U.S. consumers and businesses, with the average household potentially facing an additional $3,400 in expense. Triza Tiengo, GBS News.
The U.S. Department of Justice under Attorney General Pam Bondi will seek the death penalty for Luigi Mangione, who is accused of murdering United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in December 2024. Mangione faces federal charges, including murder, using a firearm and interstate stalking, as well as state charges of the first-degree murder, classified as terrorism, and weapons offenses. Bondi described the killing as, in the court, premeditated, cold-blooded assassination and political violence, citing Trump's executive order to pursue capital punishment for severe crimes. Mangione's attorney, Karen, condemned the move as barbaric and politically motivated, arguing it upholds a flawed healthcare system. This marks one of the first federal death penalty pursuits under a Trump-renewed administration following a Biden-era moratorium. Federal conviction could lead to execution, while state charges carry a maximum life sentence. Thompson was fatally shot outside a Manhattan hotel during a corporate event. Investigators linked Mangione to anti-insurer sentiments, citing bullets inscribed with words like delay and deny.
As we understand that we have primary jurisdiction, and we have been informed by the U.S. Attorney that they intend on allowing us to try our case first. So with respect to whatever goes on there, as the party with primary jurisdiction, the trial and the sentencing will take place here prior to anything that takes place in the federal system.
The ambassador will take a short break. We'll be right back with more as we debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics.
And the question of the day is, can you survive without internet?
Ngumu, plus kuachilia hizo story tu zote zikupite ni ngori.
Niwaambie ukweli. Like hii ni kama kuambia mtu mwenye alikuwa amezoea kushindana nguo, mwambie toa nguo ushinde uchi. Hiyo huku atriki kwa sababu sasa like ilikuwa imekuingia kwa kichwa kabisa.
Mimi nimesomea day school na niocha. So kukuwa na simu hadi ni ile katururu, si smartphone, ni ile katururu.
Sasa unaweza kaa holi ya bila simu.
Kuspend hii most of the time kwa simu. Also you need to run skills. So nilipata na later hapa nikapo-apply huko. And then I started learning skills. Digital skills.
Yes, hadi siku mbili haiwezi.
Kwa wiki naachilia hata kama ni siku mbili ama sometimes na extend to wiki nzima. Napata shida simu yangu.
Everywhere, GBS.
Real Madrid coach Carlo Ancelotti will stand trial today in Spain on charges of tax evasion. Prosecutors accuse him of defrauding €1 million between 2014 and 2015, seeking a prison sentence of up to 4 years and 9 months. The 65-year-old coach, renowned for winning five UEFA Champions League titles, denies any wrongdoing. His legal troubles now cast a shadow over his celebrated career in football.
Real Madrid coach Carlo Ancelotti will stand trial in Spain today, facing charges of tax evasion. Prosecutors accuse him of defrauding the Spanish government €1 million between 2014 and 2015, using shell companies to hide his earnings. A court set the trial date last Friday, and prosecutors are seeking a prison sentence of up to 4 years and 9 months, but the 65-year-old Italian coach denies any wrongdoing.
I trust the law and justice. I am not worried about it. But clearly, if the prosecutors say that I have committed fraud, that makes me upset. But I truly believe in the law and justice. And I am going, eagerly, declare.
Coach Ancelotti is one of football's most successful coach and holds the record for the most UEFA Champions League titles won by a coach, with 5 titles, 3 with Real Madrid and 2 with AC Milan. The football world now awaits the outcome of his trial. Elvin Muyodi, GBS News.
And that's all we had for today here at The Ambassador, where we debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics. See you tomorrow, same time, same place at 1 p.m. I have been your Ambassador Susan Nganga. Have a good afternoon.
Everywhere, GBS.